homegrownradio.net, bring the radio back to its roots. Terrace Martin takeover. Just edit that, man. That's fly. It's a boing boing.
Yeah, you know what time it is, man. Homegrownradio.net.
Where does the story start with Terrace Martin?
Man, just a young dude from L.A. that had a dream, that grew up in a house of music from Los Angeles, California. You know, the real Los Angeles, not the outskirts.
Now, as far as the hip-hop shit, I mean, we've talked about it before and how Eazy-E was a huge influence on you. And you've been able to see him at the Rhodium Swap Meet. Talk about that and what the Rhodium Swap Meet means to you. And for the people, again, we're going to have to do a back trail for people that don't know what the Rhodium Swap Meet is or, you know, what that meant for L.A. culture. Talk about that and how you got introduced in that and how you got introduced to Eazy-E.
Well, you know, in L.A. culture, and I'm sorry other cultures, but I'll just talk for us because that's all, you know, in L.A. culture, the swap meet is a big thing for us, you know, because we feel it's better deals there.
Yeah.
I don't know why we feel like that, but, you know, it happens. That shit's expensive.
Hey, no. Damn that. I bought a bird for $5 at the swap meet.
But it died. How long did it die?
It died about 3 weeks later.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. One day I was just walking through.
How old were you at the time?
Oh, God, dog. 5, 6 years old.
Okay.
You know?
Okay.
This is my earliest earliest memory of hip hop.
Yeah.
Though, you know, so one of them, one of the top 3 early. And I walked past this record store. It was in the middle of the Rhodium, and it was right by the bathrooms and the nachos and the hot dog stand and everything like that. And it was always right next door to the guy that sold the Nintendo games, not Super Nintendo, the Nintendo games. But a cat named Steve Yano ran a record store there that a lot of people came through. Like, mainly like when I was the trip I'm talking about when I went there was a guy DJing, and Steve was right there selling records, and I remember seeing like just a gang of different people there, but the guy DJing and making a live mixtape with just having to be Dr. Dre.
Wow.
You know, then Eazy-E was on the side of him, and this was like when I think Boys in the Hood was out.
Okay.
You know, but it was early N.W.A, very early, like Raider and King hats.
Wow.
Dickies, you know what I'm saying?
Had the
it was
you
know, and I remember not knowing what a superstar was, or not knowing anything, any of that feeling.
Yeah.
6 years old, you know. But I remember me seeing Eazy-E, you know, and I just stood from afar, and I didn't, you know, it was crowded, but I saw a short guy. Well, he was taller than me then, but he had some Jordans on, you know, 501s, white tee, a Raiders hat, Raiders jacket. And I just remember the first memory of Eazy I had was he was very kind and talking to women as women. Mm-hmm. And he was talking to kids as kids. You know, it wasn't like the records. He was very much a gentleman.
He was a gangster rapper.
And soft-spoken. Mm. No, you knew this nigga was a gangster, though. Yeah. You felt that, too, but you felt gentleman, you know. And that's my first thing of a star is gentleman.
Wow.
That's why I always do love records. Like, that's my first thing. So it was that. And then just seeing how he moved and everybody respected him, really, I didn't know what he did at the time, but I knew I wanted that same respect. You understand what I'm saying? So it just looked like power, but positive power. You know what I mean? The first song I heard on the N.W.A record was Dope Man. Mm-hmm. And I remember hearing that sound, and it was like the most powerful thing I ever heard in my life. The second song I ever heard was Eazy-E, 8 Ball.
Wow.
I don't drink brass monkey. Like to be funky. Nickname Eazy-E, yo, 8 Ball junkie.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like those were the first records I heard. Those records right there. That's why I say Eazy-E is such a major influence. He's literally in the same boat as Miles Davis and John Coltrane to me, to Terrace Martin. Because without Eazy, my parents was in the music, but I really don't believe, and this is honestly, but they didn't drive me to it.
Got you.
Now, I may have been born with it, had it in me.
The genes and
but
all
Eazy
that.
triggered something, man. When I just saw how he moved, now I wasn't thinking about jazz and shit.
Yeah.
I just wanted that. Then, you know, I started digging in them records, man, and listening to records and just figuring out what was what and asking other people how they did them records.
All right,
and the next year, God delivered the saxophone into my life. That fast. I saw